What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And today we've got something extra special. We're installing our Aero Competition Low full titanium exhaust on this 2023 BMW S1000RR. I'm super excited.
Get out the way, you got a watch, you got the time, I'm raising the clock. Even in my feelings, grind don't stop. Got big dreams, want big rocks. I got plans, I got talk. That is real cheap, but it's really go close. I'm trying to get these
Alright, so we need to take these fairings off. But I'm not going to bore you again with another 20-minute video on me taking these fairings off. So if you could, go back in my YouTube. Should be here somewhere. Look like I'm trying to do a TikTok dance, but figure it out. It's a video on how to take these fairings off. If you already know how to do them, we'll skip forward. Now that you've got your fairings off, let's get into the full exhaust install. Forewarning, this is not a super simple process on these bikes. Had to figure that one out the hard way. I will say this is a lot easier to do if your bike needs an oil change. So please don't attempt this. You can 100%, you can still do this if you don't need an oil change. Why I say that is because the oil filter is right in the way of the headers. So my advice to you, I had to do this full exhaust install when I was doing my 600-mile service, and I did my 600-mile service, so I had to change the oil. So once I removed the oil filter, the headers, they had a lot more room. I'll show you that here in a second, but like I said, it's a lot easier to do this if you remove the oil filter. So do this full header install while you are changing your oil. Another thing to note is your exhaust box. If you have a full install kit from Aero, it's going to come with something like this. This thing is a piece of junk. Throw it away. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go to AutoZone and get you a real spring puller. Looks like this, about $9 to $10. Save yourself the trouble. Go and get this, because I used that piece of junk for about 20 minutes and I almost wanted to do some self-harm. So yeah, 10 bucks, AutoZone, go and get you this. Makes life a lot easier. Hey, you. Yeah, you. If you could, like this video for the algorithm. So here's what I was saying about the oil filter. It's a lot easier to do if that's removed, because there's a whole lot of space that you can free up. So like I said in my last video, this is also another one of the videos where I was doing this install in my shed and it wasn't enough light. The video did not come out great and you couldn't see basically anything. So I'm basically gonna go over the things that we need to go over and talk about what needs to be removed as I'm doing it. Some things I'm gonna pull off, some things I'm not, specifically for the reason that it was hard enough to get it on. So taking it off and then trying to put it back on for the purpose of the videos, most of this stuff can just be talked about. So I'm gonna show you where different things are. Some things I'm gonna be pulling off just to show you. But yeah, let's get into it. The first thing you wanna do, this bolt, take that off. It's going to be a Torx T40. If you have the M package, you're going to have something that looks like this. This is the Akrapovic silencer. But yeah, this is a Torx T40 bolt that goes in here. You want to unscrew that. There's nothing to hold on to in the back because it's like a screw or whatnot that's built into the exhaust. So remove that. It's a Torx T40 again, and just remove it away from the exhaust. So it's this bolt and this one. This is a Torx T45. So unscrew this one and unscrew this one, remove it from the exhaust. And if there's ever a point where I'm speaking too fast, feel free to pause the video or slow down the video, whatever you need to do so that you don't mess up anything on your bike. So once you pull the silencer off your bike, you're gonna see something that looks like this. You're gonna wanna look for this black box thing. This is your exhaust valve, right? So this is an 8mm screw. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take that off and put that aside. This is a cap, so all this does is just, it comes off and it exposes the valve control mechanism, right? So throw that aside. Next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to free these cables from this mechanism. So don't know why BMW did this, don't get mad at me. This is a 10mm wrench. This is an 11mm wrench, so God knows why they did that. So screw that, take those off, take these off, and just pull them apart. So something like this, it would come off, that'd be great, and just route it and remove it. All right, let's take those off like that. These wires will still be connected to the bike up by the exhaust servo, so this is still going to be hanging on to something in the bike, right? And it's going to be somewhere here. Just pull that off. I think it's connected to this thing right here, so you can either pull that off if you want to. I left it on. It's not harming anything, so whatever. So next, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to follow those wires up to something that looks like this. For whatever reason, the exhaust package tells you to unscrew that bolt right there. Do not do that. Unscrew this bolt, and I'm going to show you why here in a second. So like I was saying, that's the exhaust servo, and that's the plug you want to unplug right here. So reach in there and unplug that. You can do this before or after you pull the exhaust servo out via this bolt. I recommend doing it after because it's a lot easier to reach and you're going to feel a lot better about yourself. So unscrew that bad boy and pull it out. So it's a lot easier to do with two hands, but it's a clip right here. It's kind of like a car clip. You push down here and then pull backwards and it comes out. So once you pull the servo motor from the bike, you should see something that looks like this. Pull the wires out. Obviously it's not going to be loose, whatnot. If you have a servo buddy, you can go ahead and plug it in and not have to do anything further with this. So the servo buddy plugs in, you don't have to worry about this. You can toss this with your old, you can toss this in the trash, okay? Unless you're having to turn your bike back to stock later on. But I don't know, keep it, throw it away, do whatever you want. So if you're keeping this, you do not have a servo buddy, you're gonna flip this over and you're gonna remove these 3 screws. These are a Torx T20. So remove these 3 screws. And you're gonna see something that looks like this. It's not gonna be loose like that, don't worry about it. You're gonna see something that looks like that. Just unhook it from everything. Mine's probably a little bit more complicated than it needs to be because I had to put it back together, but remove these things, take those out, and keep the servo motor, okay? You can remove the wires. These things, just literally, they're in like that. You can just pop them out like so and just remove them, toss them to the side. Put this thing back together. Again, this is if you do not have a servo buddy, and put it back together. So once you put it back together, it should look something like this. No wires or nothing. All you got to do, and this is why I say, I don't know why they tell you to take that bolt out, because all you've got to do is plug it back in and then slide it into the bolt holes right there. That's it. So once you've got it plugged in, like I was saying, all you got to do is just line the holes up and just slide it back into its original place and line that back up and screw it in. And that takes care of your servo motor, so that your bike does not throw a code when it realizes that the butterfly valves and all that stuff are gone in the OEM exhaust. And that's how it should look put back together. Next, what you're going to want to do is remove your rear O2 sensors. So the sensors on both sides, these are 19 millimeter. So that's going to be a 19 millimeter open-ended box wrench or whatever. So this one, and then the one on this side as well, take those out and just have them hanging to the side. And those are going to be right here. The front ones are 22 millimeters, so that's another 22 millimeter open-ended box wrench. Take those out of the holes as well. Next, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find this radiator support mount. Kind of hard to point to it. Right there, that thing. It's a 25, a Torx T25. Take that out, and to separate them from the mounts, all you got to do is squeeze them together, and those pins should come out of the radiator mount right there. Hopefully you listened to me and took your oil filter off, because it's gonna create a lot more space for you. So since you unscrewed your front O2 sensors, you want to go here and twist this to the side and pop this out. Cut the zip tie and just take this out of the, pull that up and just take that out and just remove the O2 sensor completely. Do the same thing for the other side. Next, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come to the flanges and grab a 10mm 12-point socket and start unscrewing all 8 of the bolts to get to free the headers. Next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come to the left side of the bike. Look for something that looks like this. It's a 10mm socket that you're going to want to use, and you're going to want to unscrew that socket from the bike. So this is where that bracket's located. It's going to look obviously nothing like that, but this is in the place that it's going to be. So you're going to want to take the 10mm socket, unscrew the exhaust from there, and then if you want to at this point, you can take this bracket out of the bike. They're 8mm screws, so take those out as well and just remove them. At this point, your exhaust should be free, so you can carefully remove it from the bike and just pull it out, set it to the side. Next, all you got to do is assemble your new exhaust. So whether you get the Aero or the Akrapovic, they come, at least the Aero came with the 4 individual collectors at the top, and then the one like mid pipe, I want to say it's called. Basically put all that together and put the springs in to hold them. So with the exhaust off the bike, you're going to want to screw in your front O2 sensors. Like I said, those are a 22mm. Screw those in, and again with this pipe off the bike. So screw those in and then get ready to put the pipe onto the bike. So this is the right side of the bike. To make this make sense, you're going to have 4 flanges and 4 bushings. So from the right side of the bike, basically you want to make 2 bushings facing with the hole right here up, and 2 facing down, and then you're going to want to push the bushings through the flange. So 2 up, 1, 2, and 2 down, 1, 2. And just to reiterate, this is the right side of the bike. So from the right side of the bike, hole should be at the top, top, bottom, bottom. Just orient them that way. So what you're going to want to do now is you're going to want to have the, once you got the flanges oriented, put the bolts in there finger tight so that the flanges can still wiggle around. Next, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to grab your springs and loop them through the holes. So again, if you didn't do this correctly, this is a time to figure this out. So once you got the flanges all in there, the springs should be up on this side, up on this side. That one right there should be up. On the other side, it should be down and down. Okay, so there should be 8 springs. So it should be up on this side, down on the other side of this pipe, up on that side, down on the other side of the second pipe. The third pipe should be down, up on the other side of the third pipe, and on the fourth pipe, it should be down and up on the other side of the fourth pipe, if that makes sense. So the springs should just be hanging from the flanges. Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to come down here and install your radiator mount again. So pop that in and then push it through the holes right there in the radiator and the oil cooler. Next, install the headers. So pop that on there. Good luck with this. If you get it for the first time, I hate you. I'm just kidding. But no, if you get it for the first time, great. Use some WD-40 if you need to, like, wiggle the pipes around, because they are hard to get on. So good luck with this. Next, what you're going to want to do, install the springs onto the collectors. So this is why I said grab you one of these, because that one that it's supplied with kind of sucks. So if you didn't know how to do this, just pull down and install it like that. It's kind of hard to do with one hand, but you get the point. Do it with 2 hands, and yeah, you got to do that for all 8 of them. So good luck. I'm telling you, it's not fun to do, especially if you didn't remove your oil filter. So yeah, have fun with that. So once you got all 8 of the springs on there, go ahead and connect your front O2 sensors back to the plugs and put them where they're supposed to be. So route them around wherever they came from. So if you can see, mine's routed right there, that silver thing, and put them back where they came from. So put that back in the hole and then twist it like so. Yep. And don't forget to do that same thing for the other side. So connect the front on both sides and secure them into place and route the wires as well. Next, plug in your rear O2 sensors and screw those in as well if you haven't already. So if you haven't already connected your silencer can, go ahead and do that. Use some WD-40 at the connection point. And this, at least for the arrow, comes with a supplied nut and plate. So go ahead and screw that in with the OEM bolts, the Torx T40. And then get the 2 remaining springs and connect those right there as well on both sides. And then that should be, once you screw that in, that should be the end of it. Everything should be connected. The last thing you've got to do is figure out a way to tighten down the 12.10mm bolts for your headers. Good luck. And that's the header install. So if you got all that, then your header should be on there nice and beautiful. Last thing you want to do is get some WD-40 and wipe down all the fingerprints. If you use gloves, great for you, but wipe down everything with WD-40 just in case, so you get that nice bluing, and basically clean the entire exhaust. Once you start the bike, it is going to smoke, so don't worry about it. Of course, if you didn't already change your oil, if you took off your oil filter, put the oil filter back on and fill your bike up with oil. I shouldn't have to say that, but you know, somebody will hit the comments, oh, you forgot to tell me to put oil back in my bike. I'm not going to be responsible for anybody that starts their bike without oil. All right, so I'm saying it now. Before you start your bike up, put your oil filter back in and put oil in your bike, and then put the drain plug back in. I'm saying it now. Someone's going to do it. All right, so said it, it's done. There's a disclaimer. So like I said, your bike is going to smoke a little bit with the oil on the headers. It's perfectly fine as long as it stops smoking. If it doesn't stop smoking, obviously there's a problem, so shut the bike off, figure out the problem. But once it stops smoking, should be good to go. So once we've got everything done that we needed to do, we can start putting the fairings back on. And your bike should be back fully assembled. If you like today's video, hit the like button. Also subscribe and ring the notifications bell. That way every time I drop a new video, you'll be the first to know. We've got a lot more stuff to put onto this beautiful bike. Stay tuned.